lot of us just went through in real time how hard it is to care for someone in an abusive relationship. This is actually a really good teachable moment. You know how I've talked on here a lot about how women who center men, whether it's, a pickme, a toxic boy mom, someone in an abusive relationship, someone with chronic codependency, whatever it is, men who center men are some of the most dangerous people on the planet. And this video, see part 1 by clicking that comment, is a perfect example of the point I try to make all the time. Because women who are loyal to men who are abusive, women who cover for men who are abusive, and women who even normalize their own abuse by making videos like that and then backpedaling and then being like, y'all are crazy, go get therapy. You're being mean to me for talking crap about my husband. Those kind of women are actually very dangerous because, and I say this as somebody who was in that situation. I will own we in this, okay, are very dangerous. We are a danger to ourselves and we are a danger to everyone who loves us. And so as a survivor, I try to have empathy for women who are in those relationships because I know how hard it is to see your way out of it. I know what it's like to justify the most messed up crap because you're so afraid of what's going to happen to this man that you love, which is usually not love, it's limerence. Go look it up. It's usually not love, it's codependency. It's trauma bonding. It's, childhood trauma who found a second, third, fourth act. It's all kinds of things, but it's actually not love. It's not. That is not love. You do not love that person. If you loved them, you would see them. You would know them, but you're not seeing them. You are reenacting. It's something else, but you don't actually know and love that person. As much as you may want to or are trying and are sacrificing for them, you don't love them. So let's just get that out of the way. So I understand the mind forkery of being in a situation where you don't want to tell people how much this dude sucks. Because as soon as you do, people are going to hold you accountable. I made a video about that recently, and so many people thank me for that video because a lot of times we don't understand why women lie about how terrible their partners are, why they cover for them, why they backtrack. I know why. I get it. And at the same time, I want to hold space and recognize the pain and suffering of all the people who love that woman in that relationship because they are going through the ringer too. They are oftentimes getting therapy and even having to cut that woman off because they can't handle this roller coaster that she's on. And for their own mental health and their own self-preservation, they have to set a really hard boundary about how involved they're going to be on this wild ride that she is not getting off of. And it was fascinating because I was like, part of me was like, felt bad for being so pissed at that woman's follow-up video. Because if she truly is in an abusive relationship, and maybe she's not, maybe they just joke around because they hate each other. And that is, honestly, most marriages seem to be the couple not really liking each other. The man really not liking her, treating her like crap, and her just putting up with it because that's what women do. So maybe they are in a normal marriage, which should not be the normal, but it is. It's not healthy. It's not good. It's enabling of men exploiting women, but it's actually pretty common, which is why I'm always like, marriage is a scam for most women unless you find a partner, and that's not a partnership. That is just like marriage, as if women are like have no choice. We're not our grandmas. We're not held hostage by these men a lot of the time, but we're still conditioned to stay in this. Right? Like this is going to take a long time to undo the mind forkery of enabling men and martyring ourselves for men. Maybe she's not in a bad relationship. Maybe, like a toxic one, an abusive one. And maybe she did write that sketch and thought, this will be funny. I'll put it on the internet. And then there's a consequence to putting a video like that on the internet. You're going to trigger and maybe even re-traumatize all the women and people who've been in that scenario. And they're going to have some big feeling, and they're going to come in your comment and they're going to tell you that your husband sucks, get out of there, you deserve better, go, go, go. And those people are doing it because they're genuinely concerned because of what you put out on the internet. And so the natural consequence of putting that out on the internet, whether you intended to upset people or not, is to just own it, take accountability and be like, I'm so sorry. I wrote that as a sketch. I didn't mean to upset so many people. But that's not what she did. She was like, y'all go get the therapy you deserve. All the people attacking me for this very legitimate reason, stop it. She fell into the like victim. Like, honestly, it was a major like white womanness, because white women are so good at this. And I say this as a white woman. We're so good at doing some BS and then being like, what? I'm good, right? To stop attacking me, right? Just own it. Own it. You made a mistake. So let's just say that if she's in like a not abusive relationship and that was a joke, just apologize, dude. Don't gaslight millions of people. She's not. She had a major attitude and was literally like, y'all are crazy for getting so upset. Just, unfollow me, block me, but this is a you problem. Okay, so that's why that's why I came after her. Like, I felt like I gave her a lot of empathy, but that's why I was like, fork you, because there are a lot of women, a lot of people on here. There's a lot of women who are actually using weaponized incompetence and domestic violence and all kinds of things to grow their platform and make money because they know those videos go viral. She made one and it got 8 million views. I have 50 something thousand followers on this app. I have never had a video do that well. 1.4 million is the most I've ever had, and that happened once. I'm not rage farming. I'm just telling you, I'm talking about my stories, and I'm actually really mad in a lot of my videos, but I'm also not like, stoking the fire, getting all the victims of domestic violence and weaponized incompetence in here fighting for me. People are doing that. That's why I call that out. That is like capitalism at its worst. Exploiting people who are exploited. Re-traumatizing traumatized people and exploiting that trauma. I have no tolerance for that. And that's why I hate how popular those videos are when they're not real. It's a whole niche, man. But let's say that it was real. And it sounds like it very well could be. I do have empathy for her. I know what it's like to make up the most insane excuses for this man, especially if you've been together for a while, but I don't even know the mind forkery of what it's like to make excuses or need to make excuses for a man that you have children with. The stakes are very high. You have got to do mental gymnastics to keep yourself in this situation because otherwise this could end your whole marriage. Your life is forever changed. So of course she's going to backtrack. But what I want to give or acknowledge is how hard it is for people who sit back and watch someone they love, their best friend, their mom, their daughter, their sister, their whatever. And it doesn't have to be a woman. It can be anybody. It oftentimes is a woman though. Watch her go through all this. And you show up because she asked for help. And then she's like, no, never mind. And then she's like making all these excuses. And you're like, this sounds crazy. And she gets defensive. And she sides with him. And then every once in a while she's like, well, maybe. It is so hard. And not all of us, but a lot of us just went through that whole roller coaster of caring about somebody who seems to be in a dangerous situation. Trying to speak to that person, get through to that person. Be like, hey, you deserve better. Hey, this is abuse. Hey. And then them being like, leave me alone. What are you talking about? I told y'all in one of my videos, after I told my boss and a couple of my friends that my ex, like the first time he was violent and threw a TV at me and bit me and like all that stuff, I made the mistake. I don't think it was a mistake now, but it felt like a mistake of telling people. Then of course, he talked me out of it. He talked to me, I call it my Goodwill Hunting moment, where like we're on a bench and I'm like, I hope you learned your lesson. And he was like, yeah. Of course, I hate Goodwill Hunting. I did a video on that, by the way, normalized domestic violence, blah. And I had to hide him. He had to crawl through my backyard to come hang out because my landlord knew that he had been violent with me. I didn't want her to like mess in my business and screw up this terrible relationship. I had to drive through town and made him bend down and hide in my truck so no one would see us together because I was embarrassed to be seen with him after people knew what he was doing to me. So I do have empathy for that woman. And I know exactly why she's doing this if she's actually in an abusive relationship. But those who care about her have every right to be upset. Every right.